men can't wank with one hand and point with the other. That's not how life is.
That's an amazing analogy. Hey, and welcome to the second episode of the 33% Majority. This is a talk show where you'll find three friends, each fighting for their 15 minutes of fame. I'm your host, the main and proper host, Tom Hutchinson.
I'll correct you there. I'm the host, the only, the true, the one and only, Ashley Hall.
No, I think you'll find I'm the host, Alex Springthorpe. Before we begin, just a massive thank you to everyone who listened, followed, shared, and got in touch off the back of episode 1. Thank you all so much. It's been great reading everything and actually seeing people listen to this weird thing we do.
It does mean the world. So yeah, massive thank you from me as well. And hopefully we can carry on with this with your support. And yeah, it just means a lot. So thank you guys.
It's super nice to know that complete strangers are listening to our conversations and maybe keeping a little part of them rent-free in their heads.
It's something we've been workshopping for a while, and it's awesome seeing it all come together. So yeah, big thanks from all of us. After today's episode, please, everybody head over to our Instagram or Facebook, which is at the 33% Majority, and just let us know what you think. Any suggestions, any feedback at all, please, we beg. With that, I will jump straight in. Tom, we spent many hours in our youth playing Call of Duty's Black Ops Zombies.
Yes, love it.
What a game.
And Ashley, word on the street is you're pretty tight with that Lord Shaxx from Destiny Land.
I love Destiny 2. I think it's such a good game. Absolutely.
See, I've been thinking about making an video game of my very own. And I think with your help, you can help me out, because I'm just missing a couple of little bits here. So I thought we could maybe workshop some things.
I'm missing is bits. He's got a development team.
I'm missing the plot, the characters, and any and all design elements. So
well, you guys like COD, and there's no plot to that. No, that's a joke. That's a joke. There's plot. Any COD fanboys out there? I didn't mean that. I'm sure there's plot and lore galore.
There was quite a lot of plot to the Second World War, which was covered extensively in a very recent Call of Duty game.
Listen, the Second World War, dead plot.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't mean
We're not
that.
even
Anybody
15
listening,
minutes in.
big respect to veterans and whatnot.
Like a movie, if it's a dead plot, I ain't watching it a second time. I'm definitely not doing a Second World War.
I think if you did, you'd have to call it Third World War, and I don't think the marketing team would be nearly as good.
I hate it already. I'm not doing it. So, video game, can we workshop a plot, please?
A plot to an actual video game.
Do we have like an antagonist, or are you the antagonist? Because if you're the antagonist, that sets us up.
I think it loosely based off me, a slightly more roguish character. He's definitely in better shape than me, very good at parkour, good jumps, excellent sports, +3 to all athletics.
Maybe it could be a spin on our little podcast, in the sense that, you know, we've been doing this for like 30 years or 33 years, and like we're proper tight, and Alex, you go rogue, and Ash and I don't fucking know, this is...
We could be the bad guys. Tom, no, I like where this is going. So Alex is roguish presenter number 1, and we are not as roguish. If you imagine us like the Matrix Mr. Smiths, Alex, you're not going to get that because you're a fucking toddler who's never seen a film. But we'll be like Agent Smith.
Don't know that one.
And we'll just be like trying to take away Alex's roguish podcast personality and make him talk like a robot and only discuss the weather. You know, subjects that are just arbitrary and have very little meaning. Unlike the dick-sucking conversation we always have, we want him to talk about the weather, how good the government is, and how great it is that we are all living in this lovely capitalist system we have.
The capitalist simulation.
I think you've got a really important in any video game. I demonstrated really well in Grand Theft Auto's 5 installation. The prologue intro section has got to be a great way to introduce mechanics, some action, really draw the audience in. So I think we're sat down, we're recording episode 4986, and Ashley, you say something and it rubs me up just in all of the wrong ways.
Ignites
and it's like,
fury.
It does. And like the player's there and it's like 4 options of speech and you've got to press. No matter what you press, it's overridden by me going, no, you're wrong and I won't have this any longer. And I unplug my microphone.
Oh, and then that's where you start. And it's like, the CJ in Grand Theft Auto when he's like, oh shit, here we go again. We'll have you like unplugging your mic and then you'll step out from your desk I assume you're at a desk. I haven't seen your situation. But yeah, you step out from your desk, and then that's when the third-person camera over the shoulder kind of zooms out from you, shows the back of your head, then shows you standing up, and you walk out of the door, see the squirrel in your back garden, and that's where the game starts.
And it's a survival, third-person, open-world game where essentially I go about this massive world and I'm collecting all of the artifacts needed to start my own rival podcast, the 100% Majority.
It's just life. It's like a really bad video game because you've just got to like go mic shopping and start an Instagram.
But no. It's like this is episode 4,900 and whatever. It's a dystopian future. None of these things exist anymore. There's been several apocalypses. So I've got to go around. I'm trying to find, in the year 2111, I'm going out and I'm trying to find a Blue Yeti. And oh my god, who's got old style USB connectors nowadays? Nobody does, but it's all I know.
Everything is synthetic biological cables, and you're like, no, I don't want that bullshit plugged into me. I don't want it to record my thoughts.
So, Alex, you said that it's going to be like sort of survival and open world based. So, does that mean like how much of your life and the survival based elements are we going to actually be focusing on? Like, you're obviously going to have to shop.
None.
Oh, right, okay.
You're walking through a desolate wasteland, and there's explosions and guns. There's war, but it's not mentioned at any point during the video game. It is all just like the checkpoint marker in the top left. All it says is gotta find MSI GS76QE to edit podcast on, and that's it. And I'm just trying to find a laptop with.
So there's no sleeping, no eating, no
enemies.
Right, okay. So really
no
not
enemies.
survival based or really very video gamey at all. Okay, I like it.
No, it's a really big map, and the whole game is you've just got to walk along it.
It's a really big map, but the only important places are like tech shops and the office. You have a particular run-in with bad customer service, and one of your options is to headbutt the guy behind the counter who's wearing like full Mad Max regalia.
And I don't think that's mentioned at all. But like, okay, I'm really happy because we've got a plot, we've got a character. It's me, but podcast bad boy. I've broken bad in podcast land.
What's the equivalent of that now? What is Breaking Bad podcast-wise? I have to know. You just gone rogue from the platform. It's no longer podcasting. It's just putting people into corners and conversing at them.
Just talking at them.
It's when you're 90% of the way through editing a very, very good episode, and then Audacity does that thing where it is Audacity and it breaks into pieces. That's what Breaking Bad is.
Naming your application Audacity is brave. It's like calling a kid Jesus, isn't it? You've set some real fucking high expectations. Hi, this is my software. It's called Audacity.
I cannot believe the... what's the word?
Terrible joke.
Wait,
Stop.
I can't
joke.
think of the word. Could it be the nerve? The gumption?
The gall?
The gall? Or maybe...
I can't believe the Windows Media Player.
I can't believe YouTube Mixer isn't doing this all for me. This is absurd. I'm furious. It's the Instagram Live edit thing, where they're like, you can put a filter over it, but it's a vocal filter, so you just sound like Invader Zim.
What I'm going to do in post, actually, is I'm going to find out, firstly, who that is, and then secondly, I'm going to get all sorts of plugins, bits and bytes to garble your voice in. So
Alex is going to get so many fucking computer viruses. If you go on the internet and type in, like, voice changer, I guarantee, like, 80% of them just want your date of birth, your credit card details. It's not hot singles in your area, it's hot audio quality in your area.
It's NT USB Mini this way, and that's it, because I got to get this podcast released.
Do we have like an episode where you have to fight an exec from a company because you want to use their platform?
Yes,
yeah, like one of the final
and
bosses is Big Daddy Bezos, and he's like, Amazon aren't going to show your podcast unless you can beat me in hand-to-hand combat.
But no, I don't think it is hand-to-hand combat. I think it's almost like a strategy game at this point, and you're negotiating with the Beazle boss. You've got to choose the right inputs. You've got to use persuasive argument. You've actually got to, in real life, create and then scan in a PowerPoint presentation to show to Bezos. You've got to deliver it well. You've got to be able to demonstrate good return on investment.
You've got like the little paperclip in the corner. Would you like help?
Yes, I think I would.
I
Yes,
remember
Clippy.
that Clippy got a lot of hate, but I've seen fan art of Clippy pregnant, so mixed bag.
That's the rule 34. You're gonna find
Actually, I
content
don't like that one.
Have you seen the clip? I was going to say the clip art, but that's kind of ironic, isn't it? Have you seen the artwork of Clippy? If any of you out there, I implore you to Google.
If any of you
Clippy.
have some, just let me know.
Please
Send
email
my
it
way.
to the33pm@gmail.com. Any clip art about paper clips being done in ways that you can't imagine. Clippy's not the boss. Clippy's actually in the screen. You know, like your little helper. You know, in Zelda, you had that little fairy that was like, this way. It's just Clippy going,
Yes.
Have you tried singles in your area? And then it turns out he's actually the bad guy at the end. That's the big twist, is that Clippy was the bad guy all along.
What would the name of my vidya game be?
Something really pretentious. Podcast and adventure.
The Podcast Outcast.
That's really good. Really good.
Goingrogue.wav.
Alex Springthorpe into the Audioverse.
Ooh, I like that. It's got your name on
Yeah.
it too. It's like a Tom Clancy Splinter Cell game.
I'm liking this. I think that sets itself up for like sequels.
Yeah, exactly.
No. I'd like Tom to be a boss.
Sorry, say that again.
I want Tom to be a boss. I want you to be... I don't want to be a boss. I want to be like the first... I want to be the practice guy. You know, like that one guard in Assassin's Creed that's like
Ashley's the
blind,
prologue.
deaf. He stood on the edge of a building and you just like walk up to him and he's like, oh, I hope nobody pushes me to my death. I'll be like that, only I'll be stood and you'll have to garrot me with a microphone cable.
I've known Tom a lot longer than I've known you, Ashley. I think he knows more of my weaknesses.
Yeah, he'd be
Get
the
in.
better boss, because I think your weaknesses are like a decent sandwich and a crap joke.
Oh, I mean, not even a decent sandwich. Just meat and bread. I'm pretty happy.
I know I could defeat you immediately if I just tied you to a chair and put a film on in front of you, and just any
Ooh.
film that isn't
No.
Back to the Future.
You wouldn't. You
I
can't.
would.
Forced to
I
watch
would.
Finding Nemo 2, Finding Dory.
But Tom, what about the Geneva Convention?
I'm going to make you watch 2001: A Space Odyssey, and that will end you.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't let you do that.
I've not even heard of that one. It sounds
Yeah.
awful.
It's it's a Stanley Kubrick film. He's fucking...
Yeah.
I don't know who that one is either.
He made A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, he did, and it was amazing.
He made what?
Yep. A Clockwork Orange.
He didn't actually make a Clockwork Orange. He made a film called Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
He didn't put a watch
I've heard of
inside
Annoying
citrus
Orange.
fruit. Yeah, they're about the same level
is that it?
artistically, you know.
Is that it? Is that the one that?
Yeah,
it is?
Annoying Orange and Clockwork Orange, they're actually inspired by each other. It's hard to say which one came first. Did Philip Pullman write that novel, Tom? Was it Philip Pullman?
I have no fucking clue. I have no idea.
We need
I'm
to
going to be
get
honest.
someone who can check these things for us. Because I
gonna be
feel like using my phone during this is prohibited.
It probably is a little
it
bit,
is.
but I think that when it comes to Stanley Kubrick, like I understand his relevance when it comes to cinema, but I find majority of his films to be like very, very pretentious. Like they're very high concept and I don't know, like very, very artsy to a point where I don't get much enjoyment out of them, except for Full Metal Jacket. That one is...
Full Metal Jacket is a film that I think everybody should watch. Full Metal Jacket, The Shining, and Space Odyssey, all good films. He did make actors like refilm a lot of the scenes, like I think it was 124 times or 122 times. Someone might have to... Anyone listening, check that before you believe me, because I'm probably wrong. But I'm
The
fairly
Shining,
sure he
yes.
made people do takes like 100 times or so, which I think is what I would do for us. Every time a joke just
That's
falls
one of
flat.
the mini games inside of the video game. That's one of the mini games though. Is like you've got to redo a take. You've got to redo a take. You've only got so much storage on the hard drive, and it's you're breaking out into a very competitive podcast market, and it's just got to be bang on. So it's me just constantly going, "Hey, and welcome to the 33%." Fuck. Hello, welcome to the
200
100%
takes.
majority. And I've got to get it right because I just keep goofing it up, and that's when we learn there's a redemption arc. There's a big redemption arc where I've just got to try and worm my way back into your lives, guys, because without you, although I am 100, really I'm 0.
Oh, that's touching.
so
That's
sweet.
the message at the end of the game. The screen goes dark, and you're just left sat there looking at your reflection in the TV, thinking, "Jesus fuck!"
But
I
it's
spent
like
$30 on this.
That message comes up literally. You're just walking along a long highway, and it's the same recycled, like 70 recycled assets of a tumbleweed and a bush, and your arms are just moving left, right, very linearly. The legs don't move, and you walk along this highway for 40 minutes, and then suddenly, without them...
It's all shot from third person, and your character's just T-posing the whole way.
In all fairness, though, Alex, you've actually described a real Actually, I think something that would be quite decent, because Hideo Kojima did that in a Metal Gear Solid game where you had to climb up a ladder for like 10 minutes, and halfway up they played a really nice bit of music, and although it sounds really disgustingly boring and it was the same reused animation and textures, it was actually quite touching. So, I mean, that ending to your video game...
Instead of
music.
touching and heartwarming music, it would literally just be, after 40 minutes, I go, no, I need them. Fade to black, credits roll, that's it, that's the game.
Ooh,
and it's like, there is no satisfaction
hard.
to it at all. People are going to hate it, but because they hate it, they love it. IGN, 10 out of 10. Welcome to my video game.
Will there be a message like at the end after the credits that say literally just our 3 names? Does it say like Alex Springthorpe will return or something like that?
Alex
I think so.
brushes his hand over a dusty monitor, and it's just pictures of me and you that say MIA in capitals. Dusty monitor, picture of me and you, MIA, all capitals. I think, and I'm the host now, but before I rip the subject away from you and don't let you have your little video game, I'd like to let you know that I think that, from Tom's point of Metal Gear Solid's music, video game music is the purest form of music. It is only there to improve what you've already spent your money on. Nobody buys a game because of the soundtrack, but the soundtrack makes or breaks the game. Shadow of the Colossus, the soundtrack. Oh my giddy arms.
Impeccable, yeah.
Oblivion, Skyrim, the soundtracks, devastatingly good. Like, really good. Hideo Kojima nails
Mario
it.
Kart, Coconut Mall.
It's a track, it's a banger, it's an anthem. So, now that I'm the host, I'd like to let you both know that my segment is going to be a little bit more touchy-feely, because I think that we need to discuss people's inability to separate morality from legality. So, we all agree that there are some laws that universally make sense. You know,
Don't kill a man.
Don't kill people. Yeah, that's fair.
Murdering isn't a good one. I don't
Murdering,
think people should be
0
able to
out
do
of 10 on TripAdvisor. Don't get murdered, and don't murder if you can help it, really.
Don't make people go meet God right quick. That's the best way to think.
Yeah, don't push them towards like a meeting they don't want to go to. So
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a
that's a
really
good
easy
legality.
one, isn't it? That's that. And also it works with religion too. So religion comes into law, and it probably shouldn't, but it does. So morality, religious morality, and law and legality, murder bad. Okay, cool. But then you start getting onto grey areas, and this isn't a grey area, but it was 200 years ago, in slavery. So we know morally that we live in an age where slavery is disgusting, and it always has been, but it's only in the last 200, well, less than the last 200 years, to be quite honest. It's only in the last couple of generations that the morality of slavery has pushed us towards making it illegal.
Okay.
Do we feel that there are any laws today in England, because we don't have I assume that we don't have a vast knowledge of laws abroad, that aren't moral? And I'll start. I think making substances illegal, and I mean most substances by this, is wrong. It's not very cool. We're all adults, and I think if you want to do LSD or shrooms or weed or any of the, even, I mean, to a certain degree, every substance banned is somebody else saying, well, I know better than you, and I know that you shouldn't be allowed this because you won't be able to control how much you want it, in the case of addictive drugs, or you won't be able to control the side effects. And the counter-argument is, if they were legal and researched and available in the same way that paracetamol is, overdoses would go down because you'd be certain of what you were, imbibing. You'd know that, oh, this LSD is X, Y, Z, and I know that my body is X, Y, Z, so I can take this much before something goes wrong. Making things illegal makes them available on black markets where the quality can't be controlled. Tell me I'm wrong. Give me a counter-argument.
No, I fully agree with you on that. But my basis on that would be, if you were legalizing all drugs, it would have to be globally, because there are only certain climates where you can manufacture these drugs. And that's where I think the morality side of things comes in. Because if in the UK, yeah, it's totally fine. Yummy down this delicious cocaine. It's been tested. We know what's in it. We know the right amount of dose for this, for you to have a good time. And it is socially acceptable. If it is being grown in an environment where there is dangers just present in terms of the manufacturing side of things, and even to come back around onto like the slave labour side of things, where people are just trapped in this environment of manufacturing this drug, then I think that then becomes an issue. If it was legal everywhere, yeah, it'd be being made in labs, and it'd be, there would be
chic, hip companies that are the ones that are making it, not slaves.
Yeah.
There'd be like competition laws in place in the same way there is petrol.
But the
like
issue,
pricing
another
structures and things
major
like that.
issue with manufacturing things on a large scale is everywhere where there are drugs being manufactured legally, there's a black market for it, which means there's crime, there's violence. I mean, even in stuff like weed.
Oh yeah.
So in a lot of the forests in America, in Northern America, where there are, well, it's not, I don't even think it's Northern America. I'll do some inducive research into that. But the other day I was listening to somebody talk about how there's all these weed growers in forests in America because you can't get to them very easily. They have to carry everything by hand. And they're growing their weed. And it started off, kind of 60s, 70s. Oh, we'll grow our own weed and we'll sell it. And it was hippies and people just chilling, having little communes, living, surviving off the land and growing your weed and selling it. And then the quality starts to go up. So how much you can charge for it starts to go up. So it's no longer, it's me and 8 of my friends growing weed for, a couple of 100 people that we all have met or know. And it starts being, we grow thousands of tons of marijuana. We sell it, in America to people we don't know. And it's going X, Y, Z. And then the government takes over and manufactures theirs. So you have to start, as a hippie running a little growing place, you then have to start either upping your quality, lowering your price, or growing more to make up for the difference. So you end up taking over patches of land, and then you end up having squabbles with other people who have land in the area. All the violence.
And then suddenly you're no longer a hippie, you're just involved in the capitalist regime, and you're not just sticking it to the man, you are the man.
You are the man,
and that's the same thing. In anything produced that gets bigger than certain size, you become the bad guy. And it's a terrifying, sobering thought for anybody that makes anything or grows something or sells anything, is that one day you'll be so big you won't love it anymore. But I think legalizing all the substances and allowing people to grow their own shit and make their own shit is good, but I'm aware that lots of people are fucking morons. So you'll have people trying to make their own meth where they blow themselves up. So it would need to be produced by government, which is also a problem because, as we all know, there's nothing more corrupt than large organisation.
Yeah, but I think to be fair, Ash, though, when it comes to like all substances, my personal opinion is that some drugs occur naturally and others are manufactured, right?
Most drugs are manufactured. Even weed isn't. People go, oh, well, weed's a plant. Yeah, but opium starts off as a plant.
True, but there's a lot less that goes into converting a marijuana plant into a big doobie than there is to create cocaine or LSD or whatever.
Yeah.
I suppose the point that I'm trying to make, though, is that the ones that are the most naturally occurring, you could argue, are in some ways a lot safer than alcohol, but we still consume alcohol and we understand the risks involved. Exactly, and then that would come into it. But I think my sort of concern around, laws that are immoral is that in Amsterdam and a large number of states in America now, marijuana is legal, right? You can buy it from shops, it's taxed, it's controlled, people understand the correct ways to buy it, and therefore there's less black market dealing of marijuana. However, the flip side of it is that anybody that was incarcerated for selling marijuana or a drug offence relating to marijuana has had their charges dropped and they've been released from prison. And so I think when you look at the UK, in that, we are similar in a lot of ways to a lot of European countries. We're similar in a lot of ways to America. Some not so good and some maybe a bit better, but that's a different argument. But we still have a number of people that are probably in prison due to,
America
supplying
still has
marijuana.
thousands of people in prison for marijuana crimes, which I think is fucking ridiculous. Imagine if you were in prison for possession or growing or dealing, and you can see now that there's people running businesses off it. And it comes down, a lot of people say that, I read something the other day where someone was saying that it's racist as fuck, and I completely concur. I know that it's legal now and it wasn't then, but why are most of the people in prison for marijuana-related crimes in America, why are most of them black? And why are lots of the people running businesses based around marijuana sale, usage, and all the paraphernalia that goes with it, why are most of them legitimate businessmen now?
And where are we getting these statistics from, or are these just wild assumptions?
I will send you links to the thing that I read the other day, but I can't remember where it was cited.
It sounded like you were off the cuffing and making an example out of nothing.
No, that's a legit thing. I'll find the thing for it. Hang on.
I mean, to kind of come full circle on it, to come all the way back round to the start of the question of legality versus morality, and kind of to tie in tax and everything. So, for example, a business sets up in the UK, and they come up with an idea for a very unique idea, and they provide a service. They set up a business in the Cayman Islands, and essentially lease the idea to the UK-based company who make £50 billion a year off of this idea. At the end of the year, the owner of both companies sends an invoice from the Cayman Islands to the UK for the lease of that idea, and it's £50 billion. The UK-based company has made no money. The company in the Cayman Islands has made £50 billion, where there are no tax laws. That is a legal process. You are able to do it. Morally, though,
it's a massive grey area. Morally, it's a huge grey area. How can you have... Well, it's not even a grey area. You'd consider it wrong. Hoarding, in any cases, hoarding is... like, being a billionaire is legal. That's fine. That's wonderful. People are starving to death. Being homeless is almost a crime. Look at the way that the world operates. If you're homeless, you're moved off from where you're sleeping. And I understand that it's considered unsightly. There's lots of signs saying, no bloody languishing around in this area. Why is loitering a crime? Why can't I, an individual, stand where the fuck I want? I understand private property. I get that. But loitering in the streets is some bullshit.
It's public property.
It's
you
homie.
Pay your taxes.
My taxes pay for that shit. I'll stand there all year round if I want to.
I think, to be fair, speaking of taxes as well, one of the crazy things to me, I don't know which country it is, but there is a country in the world that sends individuals who pay their taxes an actual breakdown. Of what all of their tax money was spent on. And so then when it comes to elections with their governments, if they realise that, there was a huge increase in military spending and a huge portion of their tax money was spent on, armaments and whatever, all that kind of stuff, but there hasn't been a war for ages and there's no tensions, and so why are we doing that? It gives people the ability to go, okay, well, maybe this other party who's promising to pump more of the taxpayers' money into, education and into fixing, problems regarding homelessness and stuff like that, you can make a more educated decision. Whereas here in the UK, we pay our we pay our taxes. They're just taken out of our paychecks. And we have no clue what that money is spent on until we find out that the Prime Minister gave money to, not the Prime Minister, I suppose.
I think the closest we can get with that is at the end of the year, I get a council tax statement about what my council tax will go on. And they charge me £20 extra to take my bin away. It's not like I've taken wheels off it. It's still just it's the same bin.
There's a lot of messed up shit.
I went and checked, Alex, very quickly, just to go back to the marijuana, more people are arrested that are black than white. So in America, you are 3.73 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession, dealing, or intent to deal. 3.73 times more likely. That's on ACLU.org, who have some very interesting pie charts on it.
Figure, although horrific, doesn't surprise me because that's the way that everybody knows that is just unfortunately the way things is, and it is time for change, absolutely, with the whole Black Lives Matter movement that I personally, and I think I can speak for all of us here, all three of us, strong supporters of that.
Oh, massive.
My question exactly was, your point was black people were being incarcerated for marijuana-related crimes, whereas the people distributing the marijuana legally and running shops and profiting off it were white. That was the question.
Yeah.
That was the
so
point I was questioning.
morality-wise, it's hard for anybody in that trade. Yeah, absolutely. It's hard for anyone in that trade to feel good about it, whenever there are people languishing in prison for what they are doing legally. If you are the kind of person that runs a dispensary, good on you, first of all, for getting in it at ground level and beating the government to it, because government-sanctioned bullshit shouldn't be. Don't let the government own everything. Stop letting them run the monopoly on every company. Don't have them twisted with pharmaceuticals. Don't have them twisted with your morals. Your morality should come before legality. Legality is great. Morality is more important. Understanding what is right and wrong as a human is better than understanding what is right as wrong as an organisation. As an individual,
on the point of legality, can we discuss whether or not there's a correct way of saying morality?
That's morality.
What do you mean? Morality?
Morality.
Morality. Actually, you've said morality the entire time.
Morality.
Well, I like the.
Well, I'm not going to miss the O. Listen, you heathens, pronounce your fucking words. That O is in there for a reason. Somebody wrote that word, they thought, I'm going to put an O there, and they didn't just skip, they didn't put it in there for decoration. It's not like fucking, like IKEA words sometimes where it feels like they've thrown 3 V's and a W in there just to say they have.
Yeah, no, you make a really good point, Ashley.
No disrespect to any beautiful Swedish people out there. Your language is incredible, it's just far too complex for my meagre brain to grab hold of.
I'm just looking, Ash. Am I the host now?
I feel like you may be. I feel like now is your time to shine.
A hostile takeover.
Hostile takeover.
Hostile takeover.
Tom is big business, and I'm your local trader, and I'm being taken over. Tom, over to you.
I'm occupying this podcast now. What I wanted to do today was to discuss a weird thing that I've started to notice. It's about OnlyFans, that website full of nudies. I was speaking to a friend recently in regards to how they felt about, having their partner post images on Instagram, just in sort of lingerie, like, not fully clothed, but not necessarily naked, and how they felt that it was maybe disrespectful, maybe a bunch of these different words, and they had reasons for not liking it, and I understand that opinions differ, and I didn't want to, jump down their throat. But it got me thinking about how people react to their partners wanting to make an OnlyFans account, and specifically sort of the argument around your boyfriend or girlfriend or your life partner, they are not property, and whatever they wish to do is totally up to them. But in regards to sort of some statistics, sorry, just to start it all off, there are currently 85 million users on OnlyFans. So the people that log in and pay for various images or packages from different creators, people that post, and then there are a little over 1 million creators on the website. And wow. It really got me thinking about how men are very, very hypocritical, and I'm talking in generalities, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
But from the perspective of men are super, super happy to access free pornography on multiple different websites as often as they see fit.
Yep.
But seem to get offended or upset at the idea of women or even their partners profiting from that truth, that innate truth. That
absolutely. So my rebuttal on that would be, if my partner wanted to post on OnlyFans, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't. I think in our relationship, it is a party to the two of us, and to go outside of that in the physical space I see that as almost as bad as going out of it in the digital realm. I would find it incredibly challenging if I suddenly found out that, like, she was posting on Instagram like nudie pics of her in undies, for example, because, like, if we want to do a new sex thing, one of us just doesn't go and do it. We talk about it and go, hey,
True.
Yeah, of course there's that conversation to come
If
first.
she wants to put it in my butt, then okay, I'll consider it. Have a chat with me. We'll talk about dimensions and girth and how much I think could go in my butt. But I'd want the conversation first. If you want to post on OnlyFans, let's maybe have a bit of a chat about it.
Yeah, okay, cool. I can understand that.
I think that if I, as an individual, decided that my voice is quite nice and I like my sense of humour, and I think my friends have got a nice voice, it's a nice sense of humour, we should share that with the world. I'm going to start a podcast. Is no different to my partner deciding, you know what, I look fucking gorgeous. I look great naked. I look gorgeous. I'm going to get it out there. I want to share it with the world, this artwork that is my body. I've worked hard to look how I do, or in this case, Annie exists purely in beauty. If she decided, okay, I want to start an OnlyFans, I might as well make some profit off of having this. Fair enough. That's not my decision to make.
But that wouldn't play on any of your own insecurities, no?
But yeah, but that's exactly what there are. They're my insecurities, and it's my responsibility as an adult to own them, as much as possible. I don't stop other people walking around shirtless because I don't look great without a shirt on. Not that that's what I'm equivalent. It's not the equivalent, obviously, but...
Okay.
From my point of view, I couldn't get in the way of my partner doing that because it's entirely her body.
I find that interesting because, in a vacuum, of course, I understand you want to be supportive of that. I think in practice you would really struggle with that.
So here's the way I would look at it, right? My partner is female, right? And so through just process of deduction, understanding anatomy, you guys and everybody in the world can pretty much jump to the conclusion that she has a specific set of genitalia, right? And by everyone, I mean her friends, my friends, and her family, my family. Everybody knows that, right? It's not a secret what is under people's clothes, right? So at that point, to me, it's a case of, well, what would your family think if you posted on OnlyFans? They would probably think that that's what you had under your clothes the whole time and it's just now visible in a way. Yeah. And then on top of that, my opinion is also that Alex, from the perspective of she's my partner and, as part of our relationship, we do private stuff in our bedroom. And yeah, you're right. It's consensual. We have discussions, all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, like for the idea of my friends or family or anyone seeing that from my perspective, it's like just confirming what they would have known anyway. Does a woman have
genitalia? Would that be any different for example then, to take your example and kind of run with it? Is there any difference whatsoever between your partner posting pictures to the masses, where there is a pay gate in place with OnlyFans, versus her sending naked pictures directly to me?
So here's the difference, right? And
that's all about intention, though, isn't it?
Yes, I totally get what you mean. So here's the thing, right? So if she's sending them directly to you, obviously that becomes, infidelity and that whatever. Whereas when you're posting on OnlyFans, it's much in the same way like posting on Instagram, apart from the fact that there's a pay gate. Your intent with Instagram or with OnlyFans is to display something, right? That can be an idea, or in the case of OnlyFans, your body. But so I think that, there is a huge difference between sending it to somebody directly and then posting it on OnlyFans. Because if you were to go and subscribe to, let's say my partner had an OnlyFans and you were to subscribe to that, you are still only able to view that. You can do what you like with the pictures, but that's as far as it goes, if you see what I mean. You get the image, you can look at it, right? There's no innate sort of infidelity or cheating going on by you just being able to see it. Whereas if it was sent directly to you, then that becomes a much, a different
I do think it's quite a nuanced issue.
Absolutely. It comes
and I think
definitely.
The lines vary from relationship to relationship, because I don't think I'm speaking on my partner's behalf here, but that would go both ways. If for whatever reason there was a hosting platform where I could post pics of my naked bod, or me in my sexiest undies, the junk that I do stow inside of my trunk, and she found out that I was doing that, or we hadn't spoken about it or something like that, that'd be an issue, because we talk about fucking everything. Just in relationships in general, she consults me several times just on like buying certain types of pasta sauce. Like we talk about everything, and to suddenly find out that was happening in the background without there being a conversation, that would be an issue. But that's just for our relationship dynamic. If the two of you are quite happy with them doing that, fair enough, I guess. If that's your relationship, then that's what works for you. Different strokes for different people.
That's the thing.
Horses for courses.
Horses for courses. It's all about intent. If you are, if for instance, my partner decided to make an OnlyFans with the intention of making money off of being beautiful, I wouldn't be bothered by that. If, however, she decided, I want to make money, and also I want to do private videos with people, that'd be different for me, because the intention there is to be sexy for an individual. You know, being sexy for the masses, for money, hell yeah, for profit. Are you kidding me? If somebody said to me, hey man, you want to get naked, we'll pay you, X amount of money a month. It wouldn't have to be a lot, by the way. So listeners, let me know if an OnlyFans is what you want. I just think that given the opportunity to make money off of something that you're born with, take it. Take that opportunity. And
why not?
It's hard. I know it's hard not to begrudge your partners or women you know, but understand that while there are people willing to purchase something, there has to be people willing to sell it. It's the same with prostitution.
Yes, that's an interesting
it's the same
conversation
with OnlyFans.
to have, yeah.
Somebody's buying it. You have no right to shame. It all comes from this place. If you watch porn, or you buy porn, or you masturbate to porn, or you have taken part in anything like that, you are not allowed to point your finger at OnlyFans girls and say that is wrong. You're not allowed.
The only reason the supply exists is because of the demand.
Yep, men can't wank with one hand and point with the other. That's not how life is. You don't get to eat the meat and then say you're vegetarian.
No, do you know what? That's totally it, isn't it? And Alex, do you know what? I will agree with your point fully. Openness and honesty within a relationship is absolutely 100% key. And for, decisions like that, they are big decisions. And I would probably feel hurt or at least confused at not being told about it. But at the same time, I feel as though it's categorically wrong to point your fingers at someone who is capitalising on a market that predominantly men have created. There are men purchasing it and there are men watching it for free. That's the only reason,
it exists.
We are the cause, so we can't turn our noses up at the people that cater to and supply that
absolutely
truth,
And
so
if you
I
feel
just
in some way that your partner doing it makes you feel insecure, you have to address that problem within yourself. You have to have that word with yourself. Why do I feel like I have the right to say who can and can't see my partner's body? And it's all about intention too. Of course, nobody expects...
So this is weird, because I hard disagree on this. I'm more than happy to kind of hold my hands up and say maybe it's just I have a real fragile... I am fragile masculinity personified. I do have a problem with that. I would have a problem with people being able to very easily access pics of my fiancé on the basis that's... Maybe it is just because that's the dynamic of our relationship.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
It's all individual based.
I'm very much of the opinion that relationships should be collaborative, right?
Absolutely.
It's two people that want to exist together and exist alongside each other, for a duration of time, right? You both want to grow individually and you want to be present whilst the other one is growing to celebrate, that growth or those experiences, those life goals and whatever. And I think that personally, as I said beforehand, people know my girlfriend's got tits, right? There's no way.
I didn't, and now I'm shocked to my core. You can't see it, Tom, but I'm throwing things around my office right now. Chaos.
Outraged. But so from that perspective, I'm of the opinion that if she's gonna make good money from an industry that exists because of men, and other men are gonna look at it, then that's okay. Gives them no right to, have intercourse with her. It gives them no right to do anything more than look at those pictures.
Absolutely.
And so,
a woman showing her body is not consent. Porn stars, you say yes or no. You don't see porn stars in the street and think, yeah, I can have sex with her because she's done it on camera that couple of times. Bullshit.
Precisely.
Bullshit, my friend. It's all about context, timing, and consent.
Yeah. And so from that perspective, I just wouldn't have a huge problem with it personally. But I do agree, Alex, though, that, you know,
you need to have that talk with your partner before you do anything. I mean,
Before
relationships between two people are it's a very beautiful and very private thing for the most part. And those relationships that are people who are polyamorous or people who are in open relationships, the thing with it is people go, oh, well, I don't see how polyamory would work. I don't see how an open relationship would work. I don't see how my girlfriend can have an OnlyFans X, Y, Z. There's nothing wrong with that. You're a traditional human being. You're a product of the world you're raised in.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to have the conversation, you know, if you say your missus suddenly does decide she wants to open up OnlyFans, or your partner does decide they want to open up an OnlyFans, and they say to you, hey, look, how do you feel about this? Is this a deal breaker? And if it is, why? You know, what can we talk about? Have that discussion. There are legitimate reasons why I could see it being a problem in a relationship. I can see why jealousy would come into it. I can see why saying, well, bedroom time is for me and for you, and it's our thing together. That's completely understandable. No one can take that away from you. Certainly, we've all been with. I mean, you've been with partners where, you know, you've had that connection. Or I'm very lucky in that I'm with my partner who I have that connection with, who I feel like we look after each other and we're very open with each other. And I'm sure you guys feel the same with your partners. You look after each other. You're very open with each other. If your partner suddenly decides, you know what, I'm beautiful and I will feel more beautiful and I'll feel better and I'll be earning a good living showing off my body to the world, that's their call, but you have to have the discussion. It's the same with open relationships. You have to. It works if you talk about it.
You raise an interesting point with polyamory because, of course, that dynamic works because those two consenting adults have had a conversation and they've decided, yeah, no, this would work for me. There are also relationships where it just wouldn't at all.
Of course.
And I do think that mindset and that conversation does still apply to this topic as well.
Yeah, you can see why those two are related.
So I suppose to spin maybe my initial point somewhat, I can understand.
Would I subscribe to your OnlyFans, Tom? Yes.
That's what I was going for. That's what I was going for. No, my initial point was maybe I skewed it slightly. I can understand why, you know, in different relationships that there may be problems. It may not work for everybody, of course. I suppose the fact of the matter is that I don't think it's right for people to turn their noses up and point fingers at women who make a living from OnlyFans. I think that's categorically wrong. Whether or not in your relationship it would work or not, you know, that's obviously down to the specificity and the individuality of your relationship, right? And you
that's
guys
off
work
to one
together.
side, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But having said that, I feel as though it is definitely categorically wrong to look at a girl who makes money from an industry that exists and say that that's a bad thing. We are all humans. We all have biological bodies, and every other animal in the animal kingdom on this planet is always naked, right? So we're only animals as well, and so if they want to make money from doing what every other mammal and creature on the planet does, fuck yeah, go for it. I think it's great. Why not?
A good point to round off on.
Yeah, Alex, that's probably a good place to round it off. I was wondering if you guys, maybe just to finish off the show, wanted to play a new game that I come up with.
I love a Tommy game.
No, I didn't like the last game. You made fools of me.
Okay, right. Okay, so that was a game at your expense. Okay, this game is a game that all three of us can play together. The name of the game is Urban... What the frick? Shineri?
Fucking...
Oh, no.
Perfect. I'm impressed. You have my attention.
Thank you. So, essentially, what's going to happen is it's like that old game show Boulder Dash or the game that you play Fictionary. Essentially, I'm going to give you a word from the Urban Dictionary. Might be a word, might be a statement. I haven't seen the definition for any of these. I've made sure not to look at them. I'm going to give you the word. We're going to try and come up with what we think might be the definition. And then I will reveal what it is. And we'll just have a jolly old time, shall we?
Absolutely.
I like this. Yep. I like it, Tommy.
So the first word I've got here is Charizarding. So that's Charizard.
I'm going to tap out because I already know the answer to this one.
God damn it! Right, okay. Well, it's
I
Charizard from
personally
Pokemon.
think Charizard is and Pokemon Dragonman.
Yeah,
And
he's a dragon.
from what I know of Charizard, the end of his tail is on fire, I think.
Yep. Right. Okay.
And I think
so. We're going
it's-
with penis fire.
No, I think
Okay.
I think it's more simple than that. I think it is toilet paper down the back of the trousers, light it on fire. I think it's that.
Okay.
I think it's a good prank, fun for the whole family.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, sort of a different way. I think it's either penis fire or maybe painting some part of your body whilst having sex. That's what I'm thinking.
What makes you think it would be that?
Painting
Because
your body
it's
orange.
Urban
'Cause Charizard's
Dictionary.
orange, isn't he? You could paint yourself orange. That'd
Yeah.
be sexy. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Just
And
call
it's
that
also-
fucking orange in.
Listen, when
Orange
people, they get me going. When Trump was elected, I couldn't stand up.
Let's go have some tangerine time. No, I don't think that's
yeah.
what it would be.
Okay, well, Ash, if you know what it is, do you want to enlighten us?
I'd like to say that it's where you set fire to your girlfriend's pubes and you come on it to put it out.
Oh dear, right, okay.
Ashley,
Right.
I don't like the words that you've said, I'll be honest.
Well, you did this to
Right.
yourself. Not Charizarding. You didn't do that to yourself.
Okay. So, should we go for one more before we wrap things up, or?
Is that actually the definition? Is that what it is?
Yeah, no, Ash, nail on the head, absolutely.
I'm so fucking smart.
Fiery pubes extinguished by, yes.
Ashley, I don't think that's what intelligence is.
What do you mean? When my job interview happens for any job, the first thing I do is I go, I have a really good knowledge of Urban Dictionary, test me. And they go, what's Charizarding? And I say, give me a lighter, in 10 minutes we'll find out.
Give me a lighter and your missus' pubes, I'll show you.
Just the
Good
pubes, not the missus.
grief.
You can keep her.
Good grief. Do we want another
Yeah,
one?
go on, Tom. Let's have one
Absolutely,
more
yeah.
of those. Let's have one more.
Cool. I picked these at random. So the next one is Irish handcuffs.
I don't know what this one is.
Irish handcuffs.
Irish handcuffs.
Okay.
I don't want to sound like slightly racially insensitive, but do you have to be drunk for it?
Yeah, I'm.
Oh, you
I'm
don't
as
know,
in the
do
dark
you?
as you. I'm as in the dark
I
as you.
think
I
Irish
don't know.
handcuffing is you like a multi-pack of Guinness. You know the plastic circles that turtles always kill themselves on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You get those and you put the hands in, and that's that's the Irish handcuff. Is Guinness turtle murdering device.
Guinness turtle murdering device. That's actually what my band's called. Guinness turtle murdering device.
See, I wonder whether it's not just like green handcuffs, maybe that might be again.
I feel like we're going too innocent. Is it
when
when you put your fists inside
about jizz
two
again, won't it?
Irish people? You're double fisting two Irish people.
Could be it. Yeah.
Oh, I can't. Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I didn't answer the door earlier. I was Irish handcuffed, and then you look upstairs and it's just me double fisting two people.
Okay, shall we find out what it actually is? Because I've got a
1,000,000%.
feeling that
Yeah.
I feel like that might be it. Let's have a look. So it was not any of the ones we done said. Alex, you were the
I'm
closest.
shocked to my core.
Oh really?
Alex, you were the closest, yeah. It's when a person is carrying an alcoholic beverage in both hands at the same time. I'm talking dual wielding.
Oh, so they can't do anything.
Oh.
So it's that kind of handcuffed.
You're handcuffed, yeah.
Okay, that
Very good.
I feel like the first one set us up. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
first.
I went straight to double fisting, and I feel really sick. I feel a bit ill. I feel a bit queasy.
with Urban Dictionary, anything to do with jizz or fisting is always going to be pretty ding dang close.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be close to the mark with it, aren't you? Because that's what majority of the bloody website is. But how did we enjoy the game, guys?
I loved it.
Have we got any more?
Yeah,
can
is
do
there one
one
more?
more.
I feel like we could squeeze
I
one in, said the Irish handcuff boy. I feel like I can squeeze one in. Just
What would it sound like to clap with?
what with two
No,
people?
no.
No.
Well, just you guys run into each other, and I'll move my arms, and that's what it'll sound like.
Oh, dear.
It's an Irish chariot, isn't it? Where you're being pulled by two people, you're being fisted. You're holding your hands in their asses, and you're on a skateboard, and they're running, and it's a fisting chariot.
Okay, I hate that. Anyway, moving on
hate all
to
of
the
this.
yeah, I hate it substantially. Moving on to the last one. So I picked this one because Urban Dictionary is an international website. So it's not going to be just UK slang terms. So I picked this
That's
one
fine.
because it sounds a lot like a UK slang term, but I feel like it's probably not. The word is gobby. Gobby, and obviously we would think that gobby means somebody that's just mouthing off.
I think
I
know
got
what
called
this
Gobby
one
when I
is,
was
so
younger. Is this an Australian one? Just asking for a friend.
Is this
I don't
Australian?
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's the Australian one, what means
Go on.
to do a fellatio to someone.
Which I don't understand if it is, because imagine you go up and going, oh, let's go upstairs, I'll give you a gobby. No thanks.
So
I'll
we're
give you a
talking sloppy
gobby on the
topic.
back of the servo.
It's early arvo, I'm going to give you a gobby behind the servo.
Good grief.
I've got
good
my
grief.
maccas and I'm wearing my thongs.
Well, you guys both nailed it. It's an Australian
Yes,
slang
actually.
term meaning when a bloke is filleted by a Sheila. Yes, that. And then
I feel like that's a bit fucking stereotyping. Why can't I give Alex a gobby? Is it something else if it's a
True.
guy doing it?
Maybe.
No,
maybe
I
it is
think the
gender
identity
specific.
issue there is that you can also be a Sheila, Ashley.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, cool. You can be the Sheila or the bloke, whichever you fancy. It's non-specific. But hey, that was my little game.
I loved it.
Thank you
I
very
got to
much,
be a
Tommy. I
Sheila.
liked
Thank
it.
you, Tom.
I like game time with Tommy.
Maybe we can revisit. Absolutely, we've got top 100. We've got urban. What the frictionary? So yeah, we. Can,
I feel
we
like
can
even
try.
though we talked about double fisting and gobbies, what the frictionary is still the most offensive thing to come out of this.
I didn't like it.
I don't know about that. You guys did talk about clapping your hands whilst being.
Elbow deep inside friends.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know about that one.
Okay.
I don't know about that one. But anyway,
We're all raising some points here. So to round off then, thank you all again so much for joining us. Like I said, please get at us on social media at the 33% majority. Let us know your thoughts. Please, audience suggestions for segments and bits, games, anything like that. Just let us know.
we'd love it.
And remember, always Charizard responsibly.
Right, we'll see you later, guys.
It's been a pleasure. Thank everyone for listening. Thank you all for listening. Have a lovely day.
Goodbye.
Bye.